Hey everyone, sorry about that. I was trying to fix it and turned it off. So I did fix it. So I'm going to now pivot it so that it's, so you can see, well, not the ceiling, how's that? There we go. All right, so I'm gonna work on this today. So this is the Finnabair project that I started. Using the mold and her little doodads and her flowers, some of the flowers. Actually, I don't think the flowers are hers. And I'm at that stage. I actually added some more of the products we're supposed to use. So I've got, these colors down. And let's see, I knew I was going to forget something. Where there we go. So the sparks, I was also using the sparks color. I've got a green here. That's not really the color palette. And, I'm at the phase of I hate it. Hate it. So I'm going to go ahead and keep working because I'm not finished. And you know my theory on this one. It's like if you don't like it, you're not done. So keep working. And I'm going to just grab some stuff that work with the colors but are not Finnabair products. And let's see. I want to make sure I don't miss any comments. I'm going to use, let's see. All right. I have my Finnabair stencils nearby. I really like this one. I've always really liked this one. And before I get too much more on here, I'm going to add this a little stencil work with this stencil and see if I can't get a little bit of these words expressing themselves here. Sort of, that didn't really work. They're ending up, because they're sitting on top of a lot of texture that's already there, they're ending up sort of, it's ending up very on top. So probably if I wanted to really get the sense of these as words, I needed to do it on a really flat spot, which you can kind of see there. Let's see if I can do that again here. Oh, get the word Finnabair. You can see that's in the stencil itself. And then I'm not super into the way these colors are working together. So I'm going to just fill in some of these spaces with a little bit of this texture medium. I went in and threw down some stuff around these shapes that I put in to give it a little cohesion. So you can see maybe there where it sort of melded it into the background a little bit. So I'm going to add a little bit more of that with this stuff. And this stuff is the texture paste from Ranger. It's opaque matte. I'm pretty sure that the Tim Holtz stuff is pretty much exactly the same product, just packaged for Tim, because he has his own thing going on. And so this is a way, I'm adding a little layer of, it's like a thin sheen. And what you can see is that it's going to push those sparkly layers back a little bit. It's going to even out the transitions. It's going to coalesce those bits together potentially. Of course, I'm really putting it down because it's this sort of papery texture, and what will happen is that I will come along in a little bit once it's dry and add mediums, like a liquid medium that will react to it, I think. I have not been careful of my stencil marks that I just put in. All right, so there's a little bit going on there. I'm going to run and get my heat gun, which is still plugged into my desk. Hopefully my mic is still working. Let's see. Fortunately, I actually have more plugs over here than I do next to my desk. There we go. can't tell. My mic is blinking red, so maybe it's not working. I don't know. I can't wait to have this stuff in person again, let me tell you. It's tiring. All this technology, trying to get it to work. Hi, Renee. Sorry, I just finally saw my comments. Okay, so there are a couple things to do here. One is to lay down. I'm gonna use this fancy piece of machinery. This is Jane Davenport's paintbrush from a few years ago. She put out this crazy line with all these makeup tools, but that's a nice floofy one. So I'm just gonna go in and I'm gonna throw down some color on top of a lot of this stuff to try and incorporate, just to try and, I guess, unify the panel a little bit. I am solidly working under the pretext of if you don't like it, you're not finished. And I'm just going to throw everything I have at it because I have nothing to lose, right? If you don't like it, you have nothing to lose changing everything about it. So that's what I'm in the process of doing. And I'm going to lose a lot of the sparkle potentially that I threw down. But not really, like, it's gleamy there. What I'm going to do is maybe knock down these super bright spots where it's just sitting there on the piece looking a little lost. So, and then what I'm going to do is go in and get these elements that I put in. I'm going to hit those. So my goal is to come in with a liquid medium in a minute and do something about how, well, yeah, these flowers will end up being a different color completely and all that. Keep going. And see what happens if you just dry brush over the top. You can pull out some of the details of these pieces that are made out of the resin. I've always really, really liked this rose gold color. This is Butterfly Spells is what it's called. Always enjoyed this color and have used it in many projects. Oops. People messaging me, so I can't see what the comments say. And today is newsletter day, so later on you should get a newsletter welcoming you back to the studio and to the store. And do a little more opening up because the things are getting easier. The county restrictions are getting easier, and I feel a little more comfortable now. I have my second vaccination. Lots of things feeling like maybe they're getting back to normal. Okay, that's a little better. So what you can see now is that there's a lot of incorporating going on. So, you know, I've unified the piece a little bit. There's still a little schizophrenia in terms of some of these chunky bits. And, ooh, you know what? I'm going to add some gold because I can't stop myself. And then I'm going to add some white. And then we're supposed to use pastels. I don't have a lot of pastels in my collection, my life. Not exactly pastel-y kind of person. I used to be back when I'm a child of the 80s, so back when colors, your colors were important to you. I had I was told pastels were my colors, and so I had a lot of pastel-y things. I'm more of a jewel tone. Every time I'm like, I'm gonna go subtle on this one, I always end up with something that kicks you in the eye. So I've stopped saying it. I've stopped predicting what my pieces are gonna look like and what I want them to look like. I'm just not intentional that way. It doesn't happen. Oh, come on. So I've got a lot of texture on here in various ways, and I'm using a palette knife, which has its own way of adding texture. And so I'm just putting this gold down, you know, willy-nilly, and letting the texture underneath and the palette knife dictate how it goes down. And I'll be honest, I don't have my glasses on, so I don't really know in some of these spots how it's working. Okay, so I'm just doing my layering up as I like to do, and hoping that, well, not hoping anything, to be honest. I'm just layering and seeing what happens. This is going to be a very chunky piece when it's finished, which is okay by me. You can see some of the Now, a lot of times you see designers like Finnabair and stuff sit down and do a piece all at once. This is not one of those pieces. I will be working on this for a while. Okay, so here's an issue. This is Dina Wakley's gloss spray. The nozzles clog. They just do. It's an acrylic, they seize up, and they end up unusable, which is a shame because they're nice products. But what she has is these, sorry, got distracted. What she has is these, the nozzles that Ranger sells for other things fit on those bottles, and so we can use them to water down or to draw with on her pieces. Sorry, I'm trying to do two things at once. This is the Wild Rose from dye spray from Seth Apter, and almost everything, well, everything that was on here so far has been, what's the word? Acrylic, and so it is repelling the dye, and so really, I really did want to use this paint because, so maybe I'll just do it this way, because I wanted it to get in there and make this a little less bright and give it a pastel effect. That brush, I need to get into water. It's going to be ruined. Well, that's kind of fun in its own way. Look. Oh, no. My computer. I'm an idiot. Oh. Okay. This is what you get live, folks. Me. A little bit discombobulated. I don't know if you see what's happening there, but because I'm just using the stick, it's kind of just touching certain parts of these, you know, 3D figures, and I love it. I actually love what's happening here. It's really kind of fun. It's soaking in and interacting with the pink. So maybe what I'll do is I'll use a little sprayed fixative to come in and gonna remember this. This is actually really fun. Look what how it's interacting here. I'm gonna use a little spray fixative maybe to fix the pink in place so that I can come along and do this on top and have it stand out as a highlight. Because look how awesome that would be if it didn't, because what's happening is that it's mixing with the pink, which is a dye formula, and is liquefying and getting, you know, staying pink, obviously. So, well, I've lost the thread of the recipe a little bit because it's gotten a little dark. I don't think you can call this pastel anymore, but I like it a lot better looking like this so far. You can kind of see the old, I need to do more to incorporate the piece. So, but I think I really want to put down, some spray fixative so that this gets sealed and I can use it. And have that white be a highlight. I would really like that. Okay, that's my plan. So, but because I also want to put down this, well, it's a red. I thought it was going to be a pink. But this is a Tim Holtz product I picked up on one of my trips out of town. I always go to a craft store. I always end up buying craft supplies, even craft supplies that I carry, which I don't carry these little ones like this. I do carry the main ones. Now I have them all of them. You know what, this is not opening, so maybe you know what, I know what I'll do. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to pivot to my Liquitex. These are acrylics, so I'm going to put them down and then they'll dry and they'll be solid. Let's see what happens when I add some of these to this. Got a couple of, oh, I'm sad. My gold is almost completely gone. So I'm actually adding a little water, trying to water that down. Let's see if I can salvage some of that. Yeah, not really. Bummer. I'll have to go get another one off the shelf. I like what it's doing though. Kind of fun. All right, well. Going for a little more of a drip and less of a speckle. I love how it's flooding around the gold that I put there. In fact, I'm gonna be really happy spraying this with some spray fixative and letting that be there as the color without, you know, reconstituting, because I like what it's doing in terms of interacting, and I don't want that to get obscured later on by what I'm going to do to it next layers up. I'd like that to be part of it. So if I add some spray fixative, that'll stay there, and some of this detail, I'm hoping you can see this detail here, hopefully will stay. And yeah, that's what I think I want to have happen. But in the meantime, I'm going to add a little more of this red or pink so that I can adhere the whole, I'm going to spray fixative on the whole thing, and then now it feels a little more solid as a whole piece, and it's not just that little patch that I had going, the pink everywhere. And believe me, I'm going to tone this way down, she says. No, honestly, I'm going to. But I don't know if you can see, I love what's happening here. I've got this fun little detail with that, that flower. I can't tell if this is in view. I love this gold. Let's see. And I love how the gold is coming up through that pink. And I love how the gears are peeking out through some of this stuff. So I'm a lot happier with it now, even though it's only been 20 minutes because of my snafu. And there's still a lot I want to do to it, but this is a piece that I really do. I'm going to let dry. I'm going to spray several very, very fine layers of fixative over it so I don't reactivate everything. And then I'm going to layer up with more acrylics. That's the plan, folks. Yep, I hope you enjoyed that. And don't forget, she comes out with a new recipe in the middle of the month. So my goal is to have this finished by the time the new one comes out. And hopefully it'll express a little more of the recipe at that point. I've kind of gotten away from it, but we'll move back. We'll get there again. All right, thanks everyone. Oh, wrong thing.